welcome to the Stoke Your Creative Fire Summit. We're so excited to share with everyone these amazing artists, creators, comedians, singers, movement artists, everybody that uses creativity in some form is here. We are just so excited. And we've got
And today
Randolph.
We have the amazing Anne Randolph. Fangirling! Woo! Fangirling! We love you, Anne. This is a fan. We're fangirling you. Joy's fanning so hard she disappeared from the background.
This is great.
Oh my God, Anne Randolph, welcome. This is like a dream come true for me.
Thank you. This is fantastic to be here and to see you, Toni. And congratulations, she did her one-person show. Yay.
Well, very inspired by watching all of your shows, which I will now talk about you for a moment.
Okay.
Your bio is absolutely fantastic. Just listen to how amazing you are. So I have met Anne Randolph in person. Actually, I'm going to tell you, I think it was so long ago. It was Squeezebox where I first met you. You did the Squeezebox at Kripalu, and I literally became a fan girl at that moment, and I never stopped. I've seen every show since then. Okay. Anne Randolph is an award-winning writer and performer. Her current solo show, Inappropriate in all the right ways, which we snuck in and saw multiple times. Not we snuck in, we snuck you in. Remember, we snuck you in.
Yes, because I was not allowed to
described by the
my inappropriateness. Yes,
totally.
I know, and it was so perfectly rightly inappropriate. Oh my God, it's a show like no other. After taking audience on an audacious, disastrous, and glorious ride, she invites audience members to take the stage with a little yay, boo. We remembered it. Isn't that it?
Yay, boo.
Yes. Yes, in an unforgettable evening. Her show Loveland played for 2 years, which I saw, which was absolutely amazing, about really about dealing with the death of your mother, right? Correct? Loveland?
Yeah.
And she
hadn't died yet.
Oh, she hadn't died yet. Oh my goodness.
She's still alive, but I thought, well, that would be the loss that will probably sink me. So I might as well write about it before it sinks me. So I thought it would be a good way to prepare myself.
Wow.
She's still
Talk about creative healing. You're amazing.
Yeah, she saw the show, Toni, and she's like, I'm not dead yet.
Oh, I could just imagine it. Oh my God, what a character. All right, let me read some more about Anne, because we have a little bit more time. So Anne, she in this show, Loveland, she deals with loss, grief, and incredible hilarious scenes as well, absurdity and candor, where she performed it in LA Weekly, best solo show. She did it in DC at this massive arena stage. She rocks, so solid. And then Squeezebox, which was like such a beautiful show, which I saw, was produced by Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft, and had a off-Broadway success at this time. And basically, I mean, there's so much more here. I could go on and on. You should definitely go and read about Anne Randolph. She did sketch and slam and improv, and she's won so many. You're a Moth Story Slam winner. Well, duh. That's nothing for you.
Wow.
She shared stages with Will Ferrell, Cat Williams. I don't know all these people, but we know Will Ferrell. She shared stages with the biggies, and her latest program and all her work is about unmuting yourself and that your story matters. So was that a good bio, Anne? How do you feel?
That's a great bio. That was amazing, Toni. Thank you.
Oh, you are so, I mean, you don't understand, like, seriously fangirling you. So Joy and I, we cooked up this summit because we want to talk about the power of creativity. And we know that, I mean, you are like literally a creativity, like you're like you live in Hawaii now, right? I think you're like a volcano of creativity.
I'm in Hawaii, but now I'm in Santa Fe in some art casino. Look at all the paintings. That's where I am right now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Will you share a little bit about how creativity, is your medicine and heals you, and how you work with it?
Well, pretty much it's like, if I don't express, I die. That's what it feels like to me. And
can we just agree with that for 1 second? Yes. If we don't express, we die. I literally, Anne, I'm your soul sister. There's just no question about it. I've always felt that way.
Yeah, I have to do it. And I have all these voices in my head, and they're contradictions, and they're fighting all the time. Like, I have like the, little lemon person and the entitled person. I have my crack whore in. And because I've worked in homeless shelters with crack whores, and they're my peeps. I know them very well. Anyway, I have all these different parts of myself within me that are always at war, and I have to like use creativity as a way to integrate. And of course, in therapeutic circles out there, they say, well, that's internal family systems. But I never knew about internal family systems. I just did internal family systems in my own head and put it on in a show. And creating characters is what I love to do. And that's, I feel like my.
Oh yeah. And you do it so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it so well. I mean, I love that you just said that, because I remember when Internal Family Systems book came out, and I was like, this is what I've been doing my whole life, on the dance floor, in the characters. I was like, oh, I love this. It just made so much sense, and you do it to an incredible degree, where you take these extreme, polar opposites and merge them into one show and just like tell stories that are so mind blowing. It's like, it must be healing for your whole soul. That's the way I see you when you do it, when you perform. You're like so present. It's like I've never seen anyone so present, because it's live in the moment theater, not like watching TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's nothing like it. And it is that presence. I think sometimes that's, well, you have these things where you're like, oh my God, this is where I'm my very best. I might collapse off stage and be a wreck, but on stage, that conversation with the audience, even though they're not talking, we're in a conversation, and that feeling of being able to go on, take an audience on an emotional roller coaster ride, where you can have them laughing 1 second, just kind of pull the rug out from under them, and they're weeping. And that's like life for me, right? We don't know when the next blow is going to hit, right? When you can compact it into a show and then go on this ride, it's just, it's glorious. And it also, to me, has been incredibly healing, because look, when you write, you're looking at these places that you don't really want to look at, and you're bringing them to light.
Right. Yeah.
You bring them to light. Then you can transform them. And also, we all live with this inner critic that's continually. And what I found is, if I take that inner critic and turn it into a character, it lessens its charge, and it gives me quite a bit of material, actually. So
I love that. Well, of course. I mean, that's my favorite one. When I was studying psychodrama like years ago, my favorite thing was to take the inner critic and turn it into this thing. I called it at the time a shadow play character. I created this process. And when I met you, I was like, oh my God, she's like shadow play characters on steroids. Like, she takes them into full blown aliveness. We just like play with them a bit, and it helps to quell the mind when I say, oh, bitchy Brenda is talking now, or whatever, but you like bring them to complete life. And you inspired me to do that. I just want to share that with you. You are, and whether you know it or not, a great inspiration of mine personally. When I did my one woman show, when I wrote it, I was like, I have to do this. Like, I just have to do this at least once. And it's it was really, really intense. And I ended up it ended up being a not one woman show. And I had all these characters, and I wrote it into a musical because I have to do music. So it's a musical, and it has 6 people in it.
I love it. I love it.
I know, it's so nutty, but when what you said really affected me. You said, when you take the character and like you change the relationship to it. That's what it's about. Those critics, right?
Right. And you're changing. And also the thing is, like, when you jump into the skin of another, you're also, because if you're doing characters, you're also like when I was in college, I think I share about this. I couldn't afford college, and I got this job living in a state mental hospital for 4 years in exchange for writing plays with the patients. And I was totally inspired by it. And these were chronic mentally ill schizophrenic, patients, but I saw myself in them, right? And I would write from their perspective. And when you're writing from their perspective, the empathy that opens up in you is extraordinary. And so I now can and one would think, oh my God, this person's so far removed from me. I can't possibly identify. And yet when I would write from their point of view and challenge myself to write from their point of view, it just creates love.
Totally. That's like an empathy and compassion practice. I mean,
yeah.
What a great idea for transformative healing, even now today. Who knows? Maybe I can't wait to work with you someday. We're gonna. So
I know, Toni.
It's in the cards. I know.
Speaking of, that would be kind of fun to see you guys go at it with your characters. Just a little bit, Toni and Anne, at some point. It would be nice to.
All right, we'll see if you want to do a character, Anne. Let me know, and then I'll jump into character if you
want.
That
would be great. I think people would love to see that.
Well, I mean, just talking about how, so first thing what I've heard you say is that you heal yourself by writing the actual show. And then when you're I love what you said, that you're at your best when you're in the moment. So presently performing, it's like this best moment, right? I know the feeling very well. And I take people on an emotional roller coaster ride through JourneyDance. So it's a very similar thing. And it's definitely when I'm at my best is when I'm in that so present moment. And I think that that's a spiritual tool. Like, because even if we fall out, you know how to get back to that place.
Yeah. Yeah. I just look in the eyeballs of somebody in the audience and usually it'll drop me right back in, or just feel my feet on that stage, which is great. And there's nothing like it. It's just it's a total blast. And you are working your stuff out.
Yes.
Each show I've done hundreds and hundreds of times, if not, and each time something new is revealed within the structure of the same words, which is always amazing to me that one, because I'm like ADD, I'm all over the place, unstructured, and I always work with a director that's type A, just like that. And
it's a great idea for me.
What I find is that this structure is actually allowing me to have immense freedom to even expand even more. Like I almost have to be framed in order to fly.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great.
Yeah. Framed in to fly. I mean, there you
go. You are one of the most creative people I've ever met, so it's like, I can see that. I can see how a director would be like, Anne, I want you to do this. And you're just like, all right, I'll make it tighter. But like when you get tight into something, you get so into it that you literally disappear and you become it. Like I remember one of the shows, I was like, couldn't believe that you were that person and you were you, and the next took off the bow and you were a different person. And it really taught me so much about how complex we are as human beings. Like you're talking about internal family systems. When we do our work, it's very similar. We like on the dance floor, I'll take somebody into their higher self, into their inner child, into their angry one, into their inner rebel, into their like wise self, all these things. And it is very similar in a sense, but it's different from going to comedy. And also you're not just a comedian, you're an actor. It's what you said was so great. We said you could just pull the rug out from under them and then they're crying, which you did do pretty much at every show. And it's so human. Like what you do is so human. It's like teaching people what it's like to be human is messy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that reflection back, Toni. I never looked at it that way, but yeah, you're getting a compact life messiness in 80 minutes or whatever, right? And it's okay to be all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my level of appreciation is beyond what you probably know. I mean, I've seen, so when you first did the show Inappropriate, you were just working it. And then we saw it again. And it was like, I cried the second time and I wasn't expecting to, because I said, oh, I saw this already, but you did it totally differently. And like, you brought a different self to it, who you were at that moment. I think creativity is like that for me, like, and how I'd love it to. So I guess the question really is, how do we share this with other people? Like you're so creative. I know I'm super creative. Joy's super creative. How do we help other people use creativity as a spiritual growth or path? Because you do it.
Well, you're doing it, Toni. We're all doing it. I mean,
yeah. How do you do it?
Right? You're offering the people to move. I think as a teacher, because I also teach this course called Unmute Yourself, Your Story Matters, is that you're just giving people permission for this messiness. You're giving people permission to really just be themselves. I mean, we just get ingrained. Don't say that. Don't censor yourself. And it's not. So to me, it's like, can I offer liberation through doing some exercises with movement, through writing prompts, through showing my own messy life. But I think that's such a big thing, is that we're afraid. Fear gets in the way over and over again with our creativity. I think the big thing this summer is to acknowledge that the fear will always be there. It just will be. And you feel it and you do it anyway, or you create a character out of that fear. So it's all material. I think all the world's a stage, but it's all material. And we get hung up that, I better not say that. Just what will people think? Oh my God, what will they think? That would be another.
You're so good at that.
So
you're so good at that. How do you just like put stuff out there, even if you're like cursing and talking about, like, I've heard some of your stuff talking about completely outrageous material. How do you just like put it out there and not feel that fear like grip you and not do it? Like, I want to know.
Well, Toni, I do have the fear, but I do it anyway, because the impulse to tell the story will override the fear, because look, right before I go on stage, my knees are knocking. I want to vomit. And it is terrifying, but it's like, if I don't do it once again, I went to a therapist and I said, I can't take the anxiety more. The fear is gripping. I can't take it. And what are people going to think? I'm saying these really horrific things on stage. And he's like, okay, don't do it. I'm like, what do you mean don't do it? I wanted to pop him right there. I'm like, of course I'm going to do it. So, but look, everything, and people want to keep you safe. People like pick the safe route, do this, don't rock the boat. And no, you're not going to grow unless you rock the boat.
Oh God, that's good. That's beautiful advice.
Can you tell us a specific story? I'm curious about a time when you knew you were going to rock the boat, you did it anyway, and how you felt and what you learned.
Ooh.
Well, okay, or rock the boat, and I did.
This is good stuff. This is.
Well, we could say what happened with Toni at Kripalu, because.
Just kidding. Tell it.
Should we or should we go?
Yeah. The whole administration has changed, so tell it.
Okay. So my show's inappropriate in all the right ways, and I'm telling about my life story, and I'm telling the truth. Kripalu has brought me on to teach people how to tell their life story, but they saw my life story a year earlier and they thought it might trigger audience members. I'm like, you're asking me the irony to tell the truth, right? And teach that, but not do it. And it was because I'm sure there was many segments in there that were hard for them. I remember I was in one of the segments of the shows I'm on this boat, which is true. These are all my life experiences. I was trying to pay off my loan. So I went out to sea with 14 men with 8th grade education. We were watching porn and we were completely racist. And I
remember this story.
Yes.
I fell in love with this, like, there was one guy that was not 8th grade, from good old boy from the South, and his name was Amado, and he came up to here on me, I just fell in love because he had a master's degree in theater, and we'd have to sneak around the boat to have sex. Anyway, they were so racist to him. And I was also always hanging out with the African American cook on the boat. So because I was either hanging out with this Filipino guy, Amado, or the cook, the guys on the boat called me Nigger Lover Annie. Hardcore racism, right?
Oh
yeah. That's hardcore. And
I remember in the show, I remember you talked about it in the show.
Yeah. And they were also watching the porn, and I started to feel this anger and resentment and hatred. And I'm out to sea with a year, can't get off this boat. I thought, well, what am I going to do? And the impulse to tell the story came back, and I started writing. And so and using humor. So I knew I'm eating my pancakes, watching porn, because that's where the TV was. And I knew when the girls were going to climax. And so I started doing material right before the girl would climax. I would like black out my tooth, and I go, come on my face. You want to come on my face? And I would just like make this up. So this was part of the show that Kripalu saw and said was triggering. And I'm like,
wait, there could be more, because remember the yoga mat part, and like talking about the fancy bed they're going to buy. That I think is what they thought would be triggering also.
Oh, that's right. That's true. I also transformed to this crack whore, because I worked with crack whores at the shelter.
And the Starbucks Lululemon person.
Yeah.
That scene is so great. Oh
wow.
I got in trouble. Anyway, this is
so long story. Wait, I see you in the hall. So I see her in the hall, right? Everybody's watching this. I see Anne in the hall, and I'm like, Anne, when's your show? I'm doing teacher training while you're doing your thing, which I did do a couple of years before, and her program's so amazing. So I was doing teacher. I was like, I can't believe you're at the same time. I can't do your program. So could we come to your show? She's like, they're not letting me do the show. I'm like, what? I'm like, we have open. I said, I have open session on Thursday night. We could just put the show in there. She's like, could we? I'm like, why not? And she came and she did the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I think Toni, you and I are both like, fuck it. We're going to do it. It's so important for students, right?
I was like, we have to see the show inappropriate in all the right ways. It was so transforming. It was the highlight of the whole week.
It was. I'll never forget your little costume and I think your cousin in the South. and the accent. Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Oh, and then
memories.
the whole week, everybody was going like, boo, yay, boo, yay. It's part of the show. You have to see the show. We're not going to give that away, but it was really powerful for people to hear that part. And then and you gave it like a little workshop, and we wrote our boos and we wrote our yays. And it was so powerful for everybody. So I'm so glad that we did that. And of course, they found out later. I was like, you made a mistake. You should have let her do it. It was amazing. It's your fault. But anyway, those people are all gone, hopefully.
No, I'm not going back. I mean, I knew in doing that, I would risk ever returning to Kabbalah to teach, right? But I also felt
you're going back. It was great. Nobody, it was just you did it for my students in my program. It was all good.
True. There you hear that, Kabbalah. Okay.
And I would love to bring you in as a special guest in one of my programs coming up. So I'll let you know about it and see if we can make it work.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. All right. So if you were going to be sharing anything with the people watching this interview about how creativity could help them, what would you say?
Well, it is life-changing. I think you have to have the courage and the willingness to trust that creative impulse. Like, people are second guessing all the time. Only you have this story in you. Only you have this way of it moving and expressing in the way you do. And comparison kills creativity. That is like my big thing. If you're comparing to anyone else, forget it. You have to trust that impulse, the divine impulse within you. And if that's, and look, I still struggle with it every story, but I keep affirming over and over again, only you, Anne, can tell the story the way you tell it. And you have to affirm that to you, or you have to me, like, get in a group or an online workshop or something where you're surrounded by people that are cheerleading you, encouraging you to truly trust your own creative impulse, not be like anybody else. There's nobody like you. So
yes, I mean, Anne, you inspired me so much that during COVID, we were all on Zoom. We had a bunch of people writing in a program we're doing called The Remedy, where we dance and then we write all these beautiful, like, poetic writings, and people were like, I want more. So we did like an online create your own show kind of workshop, and it was great. It was like people really went in. It was dance, it was singing. I do a lot of songwriting stuff, and people sang songs, and it was just like, it was deep. And I think it is transformational, and it takes a lot of courage. Not everybody was like, yay, I want to do that. People were like, whoa, that's scary looking. You know?
Yeah. And that's okay. You're gonna feel it. Again, just do it. Yeah. That's so great, Toni.
Yeah, I mean, what you said is like,
in your class who love it. They love it. Oh,
I'm so glad that I'm getting to work with you even right now, talk to you, because there's this thing inside some people have, and I'm curious what you think of it. Like, that you have it. It's like a burning to tell the story, to be seen, to do it because you don't just tell stories. You take us on a journey. You are so in every character, and the way you write is so incredibly, I don't know how else to say it. It's cinematic. It's not just like a little show. It's cinematic. And I guess my question is, do you feel that feeling of like, well, you said it before. If I don't express, I'll die.
Yeah. Look, COVID
can you
was really,
speak to
really
that?
hard. COVID was hard, right? I had shows, gigs scheduled. I couldn't do it. And then I thought, well, I'll make videos. And I don't know if you saw, but
I saw some.
TikTok is limitless, everything. And I could only put myself in the bathtub, because a bathtub felt like the stage to me. It's limited. You're confined on this little thing. And I'm going to put myself in the tub. And
I love the Eckhart Tolle ones. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have my character, Barbara. Barbara wears a fanny pack on his chest. She says, oh my God, I have to put Eckhart on speed 3, on Audible, because I can't do it. I can't wait for the pauses. I got to put it on 3, so he's talking like that, and I get all the information. That's Barbara. But anyway.
I love it. I love that joke, Toni, because he's so slow. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I was like, I listen to Eckhart on 3X. I'm so sorry, Eckhart. You're great, but 3X for me.
Yeah. They probably don't know what we're talking about, but I played Eckhart Tolle in the bathtub talking to the Statue of Liberty.
Go watch her YouTube videos. Oh my God. And he's doing like a therapy session with the Statue of Liberty. So great.
Yeah.
But I want to get in there.
Long form. I miss 80-minute show. I miss it. So doing the bathtub, that was like 3 minutes, but I was like, oh my God. So, yeah.
Oh, you're coming back. You're performing
I'm
again,
back.
right?
I'm
Oh
coming
yeah,
back.
you're back.
Yeah.
Excellent. But I was going to ask you, so if you could say one part of you that you have healed, I'm going to ask this because I mean, well, I'll share with you. You don't know this about me. I mean, I did take your workshop a number of years ago. I think I did it twice. And I wrote a bunch of stuff about, I used to be bulimic and anorexic, kind of that kind of messy world. I had like my father, this crazy stuff. And I wrote so much about that at that show. And some of that got into my show, but not all of it. But now I'm songwriting about some of my trauma, which has been really amazingly healing for me. Like I'm songwriting about my dad would not want to hear this, but he had a lot of anger issues growing up. He was a lot of screaming and a lot of, me running away and then him coming to apologize. And I wrote this song recently, it's like, she's just a little girl hiding under the table. It's like this story. I don't know if I really hit under the table, but it's an image that is healing me to deal with my rage because I inherited that rage. And now I get very explosive and angry and I'm such an emotional person and I'm so expressive. So that's what I'm working on right now is how do I heal? Literally, I'm healing right now. I'm working on my anger, my rage, my shame, my fear. Those are my emotions I'm working on right now. So I'm like, what do you heal when you do the shows? Can you speak to that?
That's beautiful, Toni, to hear that, just how you're doing that right now.
It's hard.
It is hard. I think, I was working with Alanis for a while and
Yes.
I said, is it healing? And she goes, no, writing songs and doing this is not healing, and it's cathartic.
Ooh,
But I thought, you know what? Cathartic is good enough. just to express, to get it out. But I do believe those two go, to me, I think cathartic is healing. And just to be able to be witnessed is enough. To write something, have others witness it is healing. You're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone. Because what happens when you share it, then people come up to you and say, oh, I feel you. I see you. I too went through this grief. I went through this loss. And what it does is it just connects me to humanity, that I am not alone in my suffering. Like Loveland, that's, I think, how the writing workshop got born. I immediately did. I was performing 8 shows a week at the arena stage, and I got this idea that so many people would come up to me after the show, just broken open after, and want to tell me their story about somebody that they lost. And I thought, why not do it? Why not do it right there in the theater? So that right after the show, I take my bow and then I pass out pens and paper. I say, who, instead of wanting to go for a cocktail, wants to write about grief, and half that audience would stay. And I remember like a guy in his Brooks Brothers suit, very conservative, getting up and reading his piece. And then you just watch this audience of strangers really turn into this community that can hold each other's loss, each other's, loves, passion. And we were all holding together. And there's nothing more beautiful than that, because it's one, it's healing.
I love that you're saying that. I think that that's what we really learned with our program, The Remedy, and what we've created with the Angst to Art, is the power of community and expression is the medicine. It's not about what someone else can do for you. It's about you being able to be fully expressed and not shut down or process.
And I love this idea you talked about, what you just mentioned with Alanis Morissette. She's talking about, healing versus catharsis and how they're woven. And what I think is, after I tell my story, right after I do my process and I write my song and I express that story, I get an awareness because I'm working on that issue so much. So when the feeling arises, then I have awareness. Oh, here we go. This is where the work begins. So now I've awoken the story. I've created the awareness of the story of what needs to be healed. I've catharted about it enough to feel like it's been told to the world, right? And now I can actually do the healing. It's almost like the healing begins after I cathart. But it's like, and the healing isn't like, oh, now you're healed, all bandaged up and good. Healing doesn't work like that.
I love the dissection of this, because I never thought of it that way, Toni. It is and then that's the next step. That's
cool. And that's where you go, okay, now how am I going to move forward right now, knowing that I am in that rage? Like the switch has been flipped. I'm in it. And now I go to all my tools, and all my processes, and I tap and I write in my journal and I go outside and I paw breath and I do my shamanic this and I do my hypnotherapeutic that and I do my EFT and I do I do whatever it takes There you go. That's one of my characters. Oh my God, honey, I'm tapping. What else can we tap? Let's tap about. Oh my God, Anne Randolph's on my show. I'm so nervous. I'm fangirling. Oh shit.
The cathartic Toni, I'm tapping. I've got the tapping solution as my number go-to app. I love that. They have tapping to motivate me to write. Tapping, the only one they don't have is tapping to clean your room. That one.
You're so funny.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God, this has been so good. Joy, do you have any other questions we should ask Anne before we ask her to go into character? No, I'm kidding.
I know. I would love to have a tidbit. Yeah, just see you guys go at it.
Yeah.
We could have her meet one of my therapists that I created.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
Oh God.
I love that, Toni. I love it.
Should I take you to therapy with I had a literal therapist named Dr. Rosenfield, and she really was German. So I'm not doing anything wrong with the accent. And she was my therapist when I had been attacked in a swimming pool in my youth. So let me I'll get my jacket on. And
okay, let me see her.
Oh my goodness.
All right, hold, I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, good.
Right,
you can see a character. I don't have my wigs near me right now, or maybe I would. Not that I don't use wigs in every show. I don't think I used one wig in the last show.
Oh, it's fascinating. And the changeover that you have. You were just able to make everything part of the show, and we didn't know what's going to happen next. And it's just an amazing transformation that happens within each set.
Yeah, it's so fun to do. It was so fun to do that. Oh, it's
so
great.
when is your next show? Oh,
I don't actually have my wigs either.
Oh, there she is. Let's see her, Toni. She's coming out.
Well, Anne, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Here we go.
Anne, why are you laughing?
I like
are you in a good
mood?
Some
anger to her. She's got some anger to her, Toni.
Yes, and I don't understand the smiling face.
Yeah. It's very severe. It's
just Anne.
I've been traumatized so long, and so
I figured. And where have you been traumatized? Where did he touch you?
Well, just I haven't really been loved in a long time.
Oh, that's not exactly what I was imagining we would speak about, but okay, we'll give it a try, darling. So, why haven't you been loved by a man in a long time?
Oh, Toni, I think it's a great character.
Yeah, I have my little, I don't know, I have a cravat. I have my little cravat. It's not here. Oh, here it is. Oh, here's my cravat. She wears a cravat around the neck.
Oh my God. So you're changing costumes.
Just a little thing. I was
she's freezing. She's freezing as the German. She's frozen.
So cold.
Yes. I'm doctor, and I'm very glad to tell you that she has passed on, so she will not be upset that I've imitated her in this way. She's one of my therapists from the show.
I love it. And Toni, that's actually a really good example, right? If you just put on a costume, watch what comes out. That's another way to enter into creativity, and that's an incredible character.
Absolutely, honey. Barbara really wanted to meet Anne, so I'm gonna let her come in. So Anne, I have a bedazzler here in my fanny pack. This is my bedazzler. I take it with me everywhere so I can bedazzle you in the back in case you need some bedazzling, because I think everyone needs to have some sparkle, some shimmer, in their life. Because we're on the spiritual quest and we're doing the journey, and it's a hard road to change and grow, Yeah. I studied the Harville Hendrix, the when you I felt business. You remember, Anne? That's why I said my ex-husband.
Yes, Harville had my imago.
Cheated.
My imago.
Yes. Thank you, Anne. Yes, you get it. So when I talked to my ex-husband, I said, when you cheated on me, I felt like you were a fucking asshole. And Harville was like, no. That's not how you do it. And I was like, well, that's what I think. That's how I'm going to do it. Because I'm Barbara Greenbaum, and that's how I roll from Long Island. That's what we do. And he said, fuck you. And he hung up. And I said, oh my God, this Harville Hendrix does not work at all. I tried the Byron Katie. I tried the work. I do the Byron Katie. So I'm like, honey, you're such a bitch. And she's like, let's do the turnaround, Barbara. I was like, oh my God, I'm offended. So I'm not doing any of this anymore. I'm just doing the yoga. Going to my own personal space. Don't talk to anyone. Got no more friends. Can't do the communication business. Just can't do it.
I love it.
And I love you with the Eckhart Tolle. Would you be my Eckhart Tolle? Because you talk a lot faster than him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm loving this character. She's great. Toni, congratulations.
You're so cute. These are my characters.
So great. Oh my God.
Are we having fun on this Creativity Healing Summit or what?
Goodness.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Oh my
God. I'm going to do my thing. I'm fangirling you.
I love it. I love to see your characters. I'd love to see it. It's exciting, right? It's totally like, and where did you put it on, Toni? Where'd you do your first show?
Oh, I just did it like literally like in my own little local studio. And then COVID happened and I never did it again.
You got to get it back up there.
I know. I got to get it back up. And I wrote a song, therapy so good to me. Sign the check and smile. Therapy's so good to me, even if it takes a good long while. And then all the therapists come out one at a time and they do their thing. And everyone's singing, tell me about your mother, tell me about your lover, da 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 da. Oh, I think I might be gay. All these funny lines. And we wrote some songs.
She brought in a whole bunch of people and it was
did
great.
some spoofs. We did
I love it.
GES.
I am happy for you.
GALT. Gestalt therapy. We did a little do re mi to Gestalt therapy.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know. I really.
You had an audience. You had the perfect audience because everybody knows. I mean, I love it when we can be that specific. We can talk about Harville Hendrix and Byron Katie, and everybody gets who we're talking about and you can make fun. And there's so much fun to, is it really true? Was that really true? Your story? Right? Just to do this,
Honey, I get it. I'm just saying, but I'm so bad at all of this stuff. I learned the method and I can't do it. So I just, it's not their fault. They're good people with good intentions.
They do. I just wanted to poke fun of Tammy Simon's voice on Sounds True. So she has one.
It does sound true, doesn't it? I always love that. It
sounds true. It sounds very seriously true. There's no animal.
Honey, I'm an addict.
I know. I want to say Tammy Simon, Gucci Goo. Gucci Goo. Is it Tammy Simon? Yeah.
So cute. Oh my God.
And
you want to leave us with either a wisdom drop or a character, and then
wisdom drop. What's a wisdom drop? I love a wisdom.
You can do it in character. Do it in character. We don't mind.
I don't know. I don't have all my accoutrements, Toni. What is the wisdom drop? I'm like, just friggin' do it. That would be the wisdom drop. People are like, well, I'll wait till the perfect time to start my book. I'll wait till this. I'll wait till the kids. I'll wait till that. No, do it now. There is no more time to waste. Just pick up the pen or start moving your body or doing the thing that only you are to do and do it. Oh,
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, everybody. So this is Anne Randolph, and she's going to drop a free link, a free gift into this summit somewhere so you can find her. And do you want to give your socials and everybody can follow you?
Yeah, I'm at AnneRandolph.com. Oh, and I started a church did you know about that, Toni?
Oh my God. Yes. The hilarious church that the name of it is so funny. You got to say it.
Another triggering church. Cause I live in Kauai and there's a rooster outside my window. And the rooster to me symbolizes waking up out of the darkness into the light. So I thought I'd call my church Happy Cock Church. So anyway,
I'm sure everybody loves that.
Yeah, I think I lost some subscribers to my very thing, but I'm very passionate about people listening to each other, even though they're triggered, because that's what's happening in the world. I'm not gonna listen to you because you're
yes.
And I thought Happy Cock
so
Church,
important.
people are triggered. They're triggered by happy, they're triggered by cock, and they're triggered by church. All three.
There you go.
There you go. Triggering. It's the triggering church. It was either Happy Cock Church or the triggering church. And
you're so funny.
Together
and so deep. And you're deep. You're so deep.
We do storytelling, Toni. And so every week I give a cocktail. When I'm doing it once a month, one Sunday a month, but instead of a sermon, a cocktail, which I'll bring in Jesus or Buddha or anybody. So it's a spiritual, hopefully spiritual, inspiring message. And then we write together. I give out writing prompts and it's super fun.
I love that. So if you would drop that link that would be a great free gift just to get everybody to come to the Happy Cock Church. on one Sunday a month. I love that. I'm down. I'm going to jump on that because I'm on your email list, but somehow I'm not in that. So this is going to be too fun.
That's great
to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony. It's great.
Thank you so much.
To see you. It's been too long.
Thank you, Anne.
Oh, I'm freezing.
Thank you, Joy. Oh my God. We've had some fun.
All right. So this was our beautiful interview with Anne Randolph on the Stoke Your Creative Fire Summit, which we hope that you all watch all the videos with all the amazing people that we have. And we will see you at the next video. Let's do a bye.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. What was your biggest takeaway, Joy? I love Anne Randolph.
Oh, I love how she talked about catharsis versus healing and how they go together. And the part about the flow and how she needs a structure. And I've had so many moments where I realized that both are necessary and that helps her creativity come. It's not that they're at war, but we need both. So that was great. What about you?
Oh, I love when she's talking about all the voices in her head and all the different parts of her that don't get to have a life unless she gives them a life. And that burning desire to express, and that really only you can tell your own story and have your own expression, whether it's through dance or singing or movement or writing or whatever it is. Like, it really is important that we honor that and we don't like just toss our story away and say we're not good enough, we're not ready, and all the critics and all that. The whole thing, everything she said was so great. And that time is of the essence, people. Let's create.
And expression as that tool to even attempt healing. We have to express, which I think we're seeing more and more as we talk to people, is with creativity. It's the power of just putting it out there instead of repressing.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
comparison
not like
is a killer. She said so many great things today. Oh my God. So thank you so much for watching. We have some amazing interviews coming up. Oh my God, we're about to go do another one right now. And down the lane, we will be sharing with you an offering that we have created called Turn Your Angst into Art. And we're super excited about that. So we will see you at the next interview. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Bye.